Go ahead, Coach.
All right. No, exciting day. The second schedule release for the spring season. We knew that there was going to be probably something to adapt to, and before the season started, a little change in the schedule is all right with us. I mean, I'm excited to be a part of the Missouri Valley Conference, and from our leadership and the steadfast commitment to play this season. I mean, I go back to that's what we've told our players the entire time, that we're going to pursue meaningful games that has an opportunity to end in a championship back in the fall. And if some people would know the things that these players have been through, the meetings and conversations and votes of some of these things, then you would understand that as well. And so they've put a lot of commitment and sacrifices on the line to get to this point. So I think in playing this season is important, and I think that's where we stand as SIU football and Salukis. We're going to be ready to play. We're excited to play, and we're going to be there. And we understand the importance of the safety and what's going on. We've learned a lot going through this fall and through the spring, and seeing other sports and how they've adapted to things. But we're excited about the opportunity to play. Look, we've also learned that teams have had to play games out there in the fall that have had maybe 1 week to know who they're playing. Or heck, you saw BYU and Coastal Carolina find out on a Tuesday that they're going to play on Saturday. So we got plenty of time to adjust to this new schedule. Going somewhere new. North Dakota's new to the league, and we'll play them first. I'm glad that they got a dome, and we'll be playing in North Dakota. Our first game will be 70 and sunny up in a dome. So we look forward to it. Add North Dakota State to the schedule. I know that it excited a lot of our players. And so we played them last season, get another opportunity to have the best team in the country coming back to our place to play. And so, look, it's going to be a grind of a schedule. And if you look too far ahead of who's in front of you, you're going to get beat. I mean, it's similar to, I feel like, what the SEC just went through. Every time you look up, it's another blue blood program that has a great team, and you got to be prepared to play and win that game in front of you. And so I'm excited about fall or spring camp here, going through a training camp style. We've had them back for a couple weeks, and we've got a lot of work done. And so we'll transition into the real practice per se, where we're actually throwing the ball around and we're putting pads on. When we get to that, we'll be smart with our depth and getting to that game number one healthy, but also having a prepared team. And so looking forward to that. It's been fun having them back. I know that. It's been nice just back with the guys. I mean, that's what we do this for, developing relationships, having them around the offices, in the weight room, out on the field. We're excited to get going.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Let's get started with questions, and we'll go first to Channel 3. Jason?
Hey, Coach. You said that you've had him back for a little bit, got a lot done. Can you elaborate on that, and I guess where the guys are at and where you guys are at with the players and everything as you get ready?
Yeah. So there's you could have a 2-week ramp-up period is what they call it, leading into practice number one, which is tomorrow for us. So you can do walkthroughs, you can do strength and conditioning, you can do meetings. We've done a lot of team building activities and just getting back. I mean, in this day and age, and really what you've learned from, now they're professionals, but on the NFL level, I mean, you think about game one for the Cleveland Browns, they were virtual the whole week, just all virtual and virtual walkthroughs, and they go out and play at a high level. And so you can get a lot done, especially when you're in person and walking through and talking about assignments and getting new players. And that's why I've told our guys, I mean, the number one thing for you to be a great football player is the mental part of it. I mean, you can be as fast as you can be, you can lift a lot of weights, you can be strong, you can have great ball skills, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can't play. So I want 11 guys that know what they're doing first. And so for the last 2 weeks, I mean, we've just been refreshing things, alignment, assignment, and so we've got a lot of work done. That's kind of what I mean by that.
Last year, if we asked you after a win, what was it like, and you would say, not much time to celebrate, on to the next one. Well, you've had like 3 months to kind of sit back, think about that win and moving forward. But for you, did you move on right away, or did you enjoy it? Or, I mean, this is a whole different situation as far as having a victory and then you wait months before the next one. What was it like for you?
Yeah, well, I'm glad we won the game. I think we probably felt a little different if it would have been a loss, as just far as your overall feeling, the taste in your mouth. But we would have moved on from that too. I mean, that's kind of how we've ingrained to do. I haven't thought much about sitting, walking in the building all excited about thinking about, man, we won that game against SEMO in a long time. I mean, it's like any other win. But yeah, we've moved on. We got to get better. I mean, that win will mean something if we go out and we have a successful Missouri Valley season. But if not, then it won't. So our focus has been switched. We learned a lot from that game. Some things we got to get better at. Some things I think they took the next step as far as their confidence in each other of winning, even when things were kind of tough there in that game. Some things we've drawn upon and went back and watched since we've been back. But now it's just about the daily process of getting ready for a new season.
And the last thing for me, when you look at that schedule, I mean, the conference is competitive to begin with, but to have both North Dakota State back at your place and then Northern Iowa, I mean, how excited are you to have two huge games back at your place?
Yeah, honestly, I know it sounds. I'm just excited about any games and all games. So you find yourself going through that schedule. They're all big games. I think 6 out of the 8 teams played in the playoffs last year. North Dakota got in over us. We haven't forgot that. So while we were sitting having a watch party on the bubble, we didn't get in. They did. So it's a great opportunity for us to go up and play them. Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of blue blood programs. Top 10 programs that are on our schedule. We got 8 games, and they're all good programs. So, as a competitor and as a football coach, football player, couldn't really ask for much more.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay, next let's go to Daily Egyptian with questions.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Did you get to speak with Coach Mallory at all before he made that decision to opt out of the season, or what led to that from your perspective?
I didn't. No, it was a surprise to me. Actually, Tom sent me a text and told me, and it wasn't anything that we had talked about or as a league, coaches, or anything like that. So they have their reasonings, and he's in charge of that program. And like I said, I wish they were playing, but we're excited about the guys that are on our schedule, and I feel good about the 10 teams that are committed to playing in our league.
Coach, this will be the first time that any Saluki fans get to see a live sporting event in almost a year. How do you feel about that being the first sport that fans get to go see live? Yeah,
I'm excited. And it'll be a good day here. I mean, honestly, I wish they could sell more. North Dakota State back here again. I think 3,000 fans. Hopefully, I'm optimistic as we get going the season. Hopefully, we get some good news with the virus, and who knows, maybe we get some more fans in there too. But yeah, I mean, we take every opportunity that we have. Just appreciate the opportunity to play in front of Saluki Nation.
Last question, Coach. Javon Williams played a big part in that game against SEMO. How big of a part do you plan on seeing him play this season, this spring?
Yeah, I mean, I think Javon's one of the best all-around players in the country, and so obviously we hope he plays a huge role. So it's our job to utilize him, utilize his strengths as he gets older. Last year he was his first year playing. He's a freshman on the field, and so the more things that he can do, and we can figure out ways to get him the ball. But yeah, I mean, naturally he's one of if not the best, just all around playmakers in the country. So yeah, he's one of our best players, and we got to use him.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to Dan Verdon. Questions?
Hi. When I talked to Patty Viverito in the fall, she indicated at that time that if a game was unable to be played, it was just going to go down as a no contest. But now I see there's that built-in week at the end of the season. Have you heard anything more about how that may look?
Yeah, I think that now that we have the new schedule and things have changed since the fall, and obviously with our schedule, so it allows us to have that makeup week. So if a game does go down, which we've seen around the country in other sports, that's probable that there's an opportunity for us there at the end of the season to make it up. So obviously there's one makeup week, so there's only one opportunity to make it up. If you got more than that, I'm not for sure. I guess you'd have to ask her.
Yeah, my other question is, obviously the virus is, at the forefront of everybody's thinking, but with the compacted schedule and all these other factors, what's your biggest concern or challenge going into this?
Well, I do believe that you have to, as a leader, you have to forecast things, but I also, what I've learned is I'm excited about right now. I'm excited about playing this season and playing as many games as we possibly can. And yes, it'd be 12 to win it all, and that's what we're doing. I'm not a doctor, and I don't know any of the other football coaches out there in the country that are. And I've had 0 doctors talk to me about concerns that they have about playing the spring and the fall. And so what I always do with any type of medical question is I default to our medical team and medical doctors, and that's what we'll continue to do. Of course, it's our job to field a healthy team, of keeping our guys. So as far as our extended schedule, how we practice probably through the week, the amount of reps. Once we get out of the season, I think it's crucial to, really analyze how many reps did this guy take, what position, how many, whether it's hits or how banged up is he, all those type of things. And then that will, how do we, how many weeks off do we give this guy before we even get him back here? Do we give them off? If you don't make the playoffs, your last game's April 17th. I mean, you got a long time until September of the next year of utilizing how you get your team back healthy. And so obviously there's natural injuries that can occur, but these guys, they want to play. And if they don't want to play, they can opt out. And so as far as injuries, as ACLs and surgeries that take you out, but we do that every year in spring ball. I mean, we have guys that get hurt in the spring game that miss the start of the next season, all of those things. I mean, we've had teams in our league that have done spring ball into May. I think Alabama is scheduled to start spring practice here in like 5 weeks. They just got out into a long season. Now they're going to crank it up and be going in spring ball. I mean, when you look at our rosters, like when we go to North Dakota, we got 98 guys on our spring roster right now. 64 of them are allowed to travel. So we're going to have over 35 guys that just sit here at home that practice probably once or twice during the week for the whole season. They're going to be a lot more healthy than they would, playing in a 120 play scrimmage in spring ball. And so I think that we have to think about those things. We have to think about the young players that aren't going to play in this spring season that are developing and be ready to go for fall camp, and just take a wide view of this thing, and of course think about the players first, their health and safety, and listen to our doctors.
My final question then would be, has anybody indicated to you that they are interested in opting out?
We've had a couple players. We've had one player since coming back from Christmas break that opted out. It was more virus related, was a backup lineman for us, and so they know that. We've been upfront and honest with them from the beginning. Honestly, the majority of the guys that maybe were uncertain about it during the fall have all returned and are looking forward to playing.
Thank you again.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Next, we'll go to Matt Barney with questions.
Coach, for your first 5 weeks, as you hosting preseason number 1, number 3, and number 5, I know Jason kind of touched on it with you, but you also go into Youngstown State, which is always a tough team to play on the road. This is kind of a big opportunity to put your flag in the ground and kind of say, Saluki football is here, we're not going anywhere. Is that kind of how you see it as well?
Yeah, I'm like I said. I mean, if we look past North Dakota, who I said, got in, obviously to the playoffs that we felt like we could have got in the last time, but that's been a long time ago too, 2019. That team got in over us, so the country feels like they're a better team as well. So yeah, I mean, I think you got something to prove every time you step out there on the field. We know what we feel here within the building, that this program has taken the next step. But as far as the last season we had, but this is a brand new season. We're 1-0 on the 2020-2021 season. So we got to go out there and earn it every other week. Or every week. I mean, so all 8 teams could beat you. And if you want to have a successful season, I mean, you're going to have to be, a great disciplined team. Some things that have to go your way as far as staying healthy. But yeah, it's a great season. It gets me excited. I mean, you're going to compete against the best every single week. If you get a win and are in that locker room, you know you've earned it.
Your secondary is going to be so deep and experienced. Is that a chance in your mind to keep your safeties and your corners fresh and kind of become a no-fly zone type of defense?
Well, I hope so. Again, those guys have to go out there and earn it too. We go against a lot of, really good teams. You see around the country right now, there's not a bad DB in the NFL, and there's some high-scoring games going on. And so you go against some really good skilled players, and we feel good about our secondary. I think the games are won and lost up front, and so if we got a really good secondary and don't have a good defensive line, then we're not going to be very good either. So I think it's about getting guys into predictable down and distances and letting your guys play, getting them to third down. And so I'm excited about our defense. I really am. Up front, our linebackers, I feel like we have a linebacker, especially the first 3. When you think about Bryson and McKell, they've played a lot of high-level football for us, and then you get into the back end. So, again, we got to go out there and we got to do it. You don't win any games on paper, looking good on paper, or who you have. We got to go out there and we got to do it. But I feel good about the guys we got.
On the offensive side of things, it seems to me that most of the roster is set, except for maybe at tight end. Is there a guy on the roster that has stepped up to kind of fill that role that Nigel Philby was filling the past 2 years, or are you maybe going to continue with the H-back with Jacob Garrett kind of catching passes out of that role?
Yeah, I would say, him and Levi, they started the game. I think Levi's a guy that, he came here as a walk-on quarterback, and now he's really earned the respect of his teammates. Didn't have any catches against SEMO. We had one opportunity down the sideline that little breakdown in protection, but we had an opportunity that we were trying to set something up for him. And but yeah, Jacob Garrett's a staple in this offense. He really is. I mean, as far as he's never going to be a guy that just has, Michael Pruitt type catching numbers. But I've said this all along. I feel like Jacob Garrett's a guy that can be a first-team all-conference / fullback, H-back, whatever you want to call him. But he's kind of a Swiss Army knife for us and really makes us go. He doesn't really come off the field for us. So whether we're in 11 personnel or 20 or 21 or 12, I mean, Jacob plays a ton of snaps for us and has for a long time. So, how our offense and, Andy's a pretty skilled player catching the ball. So I'd say that those guys, John Ballmer's a freshman that came here from Vianney in St. Louis that dressed for the game against SEMO, and we'll add some valuable depth that we're excited about. A kid that's got a lot of years here that's going to be a really good player too. So as we get into camp here and see how he's progressing, can be another guy that you see at that spot.
Last one from me, Coach, and I'm not sure how well you be able to answer this, but with the FBS level being the main focus for college football fans in the fall, this is kind of a new opportunity for FCS to really grab the attention of the nation and maybe even get kind of that bigger piece of pie that they're looking for from an entertainment standpoint. Do you think if things go well this spring that we could see this level of football, the FCS level, continue in the spring?
Well, your first question, yeah, I think there's a great opportunity for fans to from around the country that haven't got a taste of what FCS football is all about and the talent level and the great quality of football to watch. I mean, people are starved for football. I mean, you see these different leagues, these upstart leagues around the country that get a lot. I mean, last year the XFL and some different things playing. Yeah, I think that we've got a great opportunity to have some of those viewers and fans. And then, as far as playing in the spring, I don't see that happening. I'd like to, get back to a fall season just with recruiting and, the kids, I believe football's played in the fall, and I think that's what we'll do. But I do believe that it's a unique opportunity for us. You saw Dan Patrick the other day talking about FCS football. Some of them are a little bit clueless, but I mean, you look around this league. That's what I tell recruits all the time. I mean, it speaks for itself. There's some talented players. I mean, each year. This year, I don't know, 3 or 4 guys going to the Senior Bowl, and we'll have an opportunity to have another first-round draft pick, a quarterback. You see the talent. I mean, what Jeremy did this year in the league, opportunities for Rookie of the Year. James Robinson rushed for 1,000 yards. I mean, they don't just come out of some league that's not competitive and a really good football and then go to the NFL and just play that way. So this league's an incredible league, and I hope that it gains some more of the respect that it deserves.
Yeah, Nick, you added a couple transfers in your recruiting class. What do you like about Stone Norton and Zach, the linebacker from Riverside, and will they be available this spring?
Yeah, Stone won't. So you have to have not played games in the fall to be eligible to play in the spring. So Stone will take this semester and obviously practice with us, develop his game, get better, be ready to go for summer and next fall. Zach will have an opportunity to play. Those type of things. I mean, everybody that we've brought in here has really done a good job. Like I said, they've been back here about 2 weeks. We've had about 10 opportunities to have them and in the weight room and things. So it's pretty early to see how they're going to – this will be good. These next 25 practices, those guys need all of those. And as the season progresses, you get into the middle and end of the season, you'd like to see those guys that are able to play, come making their difference then.
You talked about the bye week, April 17th, if you guys need it at the end of the year. When you coaches talked, together, did you want the bye week in the middle of the season? If you could have picked after the first 4 games, or does it even matter?
To honestly, if you would track me on those, I'm ready to play. And so, I'm sure there's some people that are complaining about their schedule and probably have rights to do that. I mean, we play all of our games on a Saturday. We were going to play a game on a Sunday against Missouri State in the last schedule. There's a couple Thursday games there that create a little traveling problems with some teams. But honestly, I feel like our league, Greg and Mike at the league office doing an unbelievable job, and they're doing the best job that they can. And if this is the best schedule that they can put together and feel like it, I know that they're trying to be fair to everybody, then we're ready to go and we'll make this schedule work.
And I'm doing a story, Nick, on the mental health of high school athletes. That when you're recruiting these kids, I guess in Illinois, no high school football season. How have you tried to stay engaged with them, and what do you think they've done to try to keep some structure in their lives right now when they can't play?
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing the story. I mean, they should be allowed to play. I can't imagine. I try not to. We talked about this before back in the fall when we were talking. I can't imagine being at any level, freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, and going back and thinking to myself, like, what if they just did away with your sophomore year of varsity basketball? Like, who would I have been, or who would I have become, or maybe went down the wrong road, or whatever it may be. I mean, shaping the direction of these kids' lives. Or what if it was your junior year? What if it was your senior year and you didn't get to have that state championship in the town, and being from small towns and everything? I mean, it just I think that we've always been lucky to have unbelievable high school coaches, administrators, and their job is even bigger now, just with the big picture of keeping these guys, focused and relevant, and keeping their morale up, and trying to look at the silver lining, and knowing, and I pray that they do keep the mentality and the mental toughness to know that one day they'll look back and know that they understand why this might have happened, and see the good out of it, the coronavirus, and why we're one of only 2 states that's not playing football, and understand that life a lot of times does not go the way that you want it. And you know all of those things now as we can talk as older adults, but as a kid you have a hard time listening to that sometimes, like suck it up, it's going to be okay. Right now it's not a lot okay for a lot of those guys, and so man, I hope that we're getting towards some good news where they're at least getting back in the gym, practicing, scrimmaging, and they get an opportunity, because I just can't imagine. And you try to use the word unfair and those type of things, but I'd love for them to find a safe way, like some of these other states, because it is the discrepancy across the country is unbelievable. We've recruited some kids that have earned scholarships based on their senior year of football, almost like there has been no. You put on the film and there's fans. You're recruiting kids, and their parents are putting pictures on social media. They're having senior nights. They're having the full schedules. They're having state tournaments. I mean, the whole deal. And then you go, a few hundred miles away, and they've got to play 0 games and practice 0 times. And so, for all those high school kids, man, hang in there. Really hang in there. I've said that before. I put my foundation in Jesus, and know that things sometimes are going to go, but if you have a deep-rooted faith, you can get through just about anything. And I would say that that's what they need to do, and trust your coaches and your people at the school.
And right now, I think they're looking at April, possibly, where you at the earliest you would be able to go out recruiting. Is that true? Is that correct? Or do you think that's going to be extended again at this time?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, honestly. Again, it's one of those things that I don't try to know that I know, and I just, when they tell me what to do, then that's what I'll do. It's dead until April 15th. And then we're going to be so ingrained in our season, and then we'll kind of see. Hopefully we can at least get back to the summer, have some camps, have some guys on campus, those type of things. So hopefully we'll get more positive news come April 15th.